Welcome back to the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. I'm Will. That's Brandon. And as always, let's cheers and talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah, sounds like a great day to me.
Mm-hmm. Before we get into any wrestling topics, we do have to point out something in the room. It's Mr. Brandon's birthday.
I don't think we do.
It's Mr. Brandon's birthday over here. So happy birthday to you, sir.
Tragic. Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Sunday's technically a new week, so hopefully you have a good week of wrestling for your birthday.
Yeah, let's hope so, huh?
Yeah. No words on your birthday?
No, none.
Not
Getting old.
Not a big birthday celebration?
No, not at all, actually. But that's okay. So
well,
we're here.
Yeah, we are here. We got a good episode today. Episode 3. We got our pops or drops of the week, what we normally do. And then we're going to do our predictions of the King and Queen of the Ring premium live event that's taking place next Saturday. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to do a new segment called If We Were Triple H. And then we'll get to our fantasy match of the week brought to you by good old me. So that'll be a fun one. What do you say we get right into our pops or drops?
Yeah, you go first, I assume, huh?
Ooh. Pop or drop. We do this every single week. It's our own personal favorites and least favorite of the week in wrestling. Pop good, drop bad. Take a drink and then let's get into this.
It's going to be interesting to see the pop and drop this week.
Yeah.
Overall, I don't think it was a terrible week.
No, it was
it was. There was some more bad than there was good in my opinion.
A little bit more
bad than what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, this week was like a good drink that had a sour aftertaste a little bit. That just kind of stuck there a little bit too long.
Yeah. Take a drink and then you realize like, oh, I've had this for 7 years.
There's like a bug in
there's a bug in the bottom. You know?
Oh, I don't know if it was that bad. You know what? Just because we're on that type of tangent, I'm gonna start with my drop today. My drop has to be the decision to have Nia go over Jade in that fashion on SmackDown. I went into it on our SmackDown pop and drop a little bit, but I just thought that, obviously WWE it was screaming that they're not ready for Bianca versus Jade, which is totally fine. And you can totally do that.
Yeah.
And I went into this on the pop or drop, obviously, so I don't want to go too deep into it again. But basically, my thought is if you were going to have Jade or Bianca get screwed over or do something stupid out of anger, have it be Bianca, because Bianca is the most made woman in the WWE right now. Yep. She doesn't need a King of the Ring run. No one would look at her differently. This is and with the women that are left, which are, Io, Valkyria, and now, it would have been in the winners of SmackDown. Those are all rising talents.
Yeah.
So let Jade fit right in as another rising talent puzzle piece there. And ride that out and have Bianca lose in some other way. I thought that when Tiffany pulled up the ring apron in their match at the start of the show and she was able to poke Bianca in the eye, I was like, here's the heelish victory that we're going to get from Tiffany. This is good. But no, they went in a completely opposite direction.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest surprise for me of the week. I agree 100%. You look at kind of everybody besides, I guess, Randy, even on the male and female side, everybody's kind of younger talent. You have Randy, who we obviously are going to get into, what we assume is going to happen. But King and Queen of the Ring has always been like, hey, let's build these new people up, besides like Booker, I guess.
Yeah.
But Bianca is arguably like the biggest star at the height of the King and Queen of the Ring. Like,
yeah. Oh,
like
yeah.
Well, I'm saying like maybe in the most recent memory too. Like her star power is so big.
Yeah, right.
She could have just lost early. Yeah. I mean, and you would have been just fine.
Well, and to me, it just doesn't seem. It was weird because they have her selling this knee injury as a big thing. Like
I saw that, and
being
then I also
talked about a lot during the match. Yeah. It just feels like they really wrote themselves a good way to book her out of it. But now, are we just gonna get like a Bianca against all odds type thing?
Yeah, and I don't know, the rumors I saw, I guess it would have been Friday late afternoon, was that she was reportedly like pregnant.
Oh.
So I saw that a bunch kind of actually after the match with her and Tiffy. So
yeah,
but it's like she wouldn't have gone out there and done a match. So it's all just confusing.
One thing that people are going to bring up immediately when they see this is obviously I'm not going to get too far deep into it, but Tiffany posted something dumb on social media this week that
Yes.
also could have come into play last second and changed up stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, my drop, I just wish it Jade. I wish it just would have been booked in some different way than Jade going full I'm mad Hulk mode on Nia. I just think that that's a boring way to book a up and coming star like that.
Yeah, and I guess we're kind of all like we're talking about Bianca, we're talking about Tiffy, but like Jade itself, I guess you maybe have her do like an anger streak or something, but like there's no reason for it. She could have just been like some super dominant wrestler. And so I don't know what I don't understand it. Yeah, honestly.
And the more we talk about it, the more like because they brought her kid into it this time, and that was random. That wasn't something that's been here for weeks. Like it was more the quickness of the turn and just all that happening in the blink of an eye, given her recent run. You know, they were booking an undefeated streak. It just seemed weird and out of place.
And maybe they're hesitant. Maybe they're just too hesitant. Maybe they don't think she's ready, and that's fine. Could have just done it a little bit different.
My pop is actually a part of a it's non-existent at the moment, but my pop is because we are getting a chance here at a Gunther versus Randy Orton match potentially happening at King and Queen of the Ring this weekend. That would be absolutely incredible. Randy Orton is doing some of the best work of his entire career right now in terms of he just has an aura to him at this point where he is the story wherever he walks. Like he doesn't really need a overarching storyline around him. It's just like Randy's here.
Yeah, he's just like I'm Randy.
Randy's here. So. And after the match, his promo where he's like, "I'm a 14-time champion. You think I'm scared of you?"
Yeah,
it's like the idea of a Gunther versus Randy Orton match right now. Oh, those two would put on a show.
All in, huh?
All in. That's my pop. Just the opportunity at having that.
Just the chance
is good enough for me to be like, I like this.
Yeah, and the promo, it's been a while since I've, I guess, really taken notice of like face Randy, but also super angry Randy.
Oh yeah,
and just the spit and the slobber and just the
veins all over the mic.
And just so into it. And I'm like, you know what? Like I'm here for it.
It kind of looks like he's gonna make himself pass out at this point. Like his eyes get like so close, like almost closed, and it's like he's spitting and sweating. I'm like,
it's
dude,
like a
breathe.
rabid dog almost. Like that's
like,
maybe that's what he's going
Randy,
for.
Breathe, bro.
You know,
breathe. You're getting old here.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with my pop because I think my drop is maybe a little bit, I won't say controversial, but I think you'll be surprised by it. So we'll start with the pop. The pop I'm going to go with is going to be something small, something we kind of talked about in an overrated, underrated a while back. My pop is going to be for LA Knight.
Yeah.
I thought him, while he lost the match, and I understand storyline wise, I wish the match could have been better.
Yeah.
The pop for me is going to be him against Carmelo Hayes just in the promo.
Oh, yeah.
Because he utterly destroyed Carmelo.
Demolished him.
And I'm not saying Carmelo can't be good. There's times where he's good on the mic. But to see LA Knight just like feel comfortable almost again and just go after somebody, I was like, you know what? Like, I got the feeling back of like, okay, now I'm interested in LA Knight again.
And to piggyback on it, I thought until the finish of his match versus Tama, I thought he looked smooth in the ring. I mean, he's getting better. We always talk about his finisher. That won't change. I think his we will always think his finisher is just not good enough.
Right.
But it, like you said, if that rivalry could really be a rocket booster to both those guys, because I think that Carmelo he has that selling ability that easily elevates everybody. And they obviously both need a little bit smooth each other out with each other, and that rivalry is gonna be great. They're both gonna come out on the other side phenomenal, and LA Knight on the mic is just good stuff.
It's just great. Like I said, Carmelo is good, but you see just in those, there's a difference between good and great.
Yeah, that's the NXT
and it's just so noticeable that it was like, oh, okay, like this is the big leagues now. So I'm gonna go ahead and transition into my drop for the week. It's probably gonna be a little bit surprising. I talked about before. I was excited about this. The drop for me this week is going to be the press conference between Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul.
Really? You didn't like it?
I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was Logan with the 3 random people and the lawyer.
The posse was a little weird.
The posse was weird.
He's gotta stop
you
bringing
obviously
friends.
you obviously knew they were there for bumps.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
So, but I did like the attorney, because whenever you have like an attorney lawyer in a WWE setting, it's always great.
Are you threatening my client?
I'm always
That's all he said.
I'm always a big fan of that.
What was his payday for that?
Yeah, right. Like I'll sign up for that. There was something, I don't know if it was Cody or maybe it was just Logan, or the crowd seemed to be somewhat into it.
I thought they were hot.
Something to me just didn't mesh.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit nervous in terms of the buildup for the next week to it, because I don't know if they mesh well in terms of like building a rivalry.
I will say this was I liked it. I thought it was good stuff. But I will say that while I was watching it, it was the first time where I feel like I noticed Logan Paul going out of his way to try to be a heel, like to try to be a wrestling heel instead of just being Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Which is something that we've said so many times about how he is a traditional heel, but he's naturally a heely guy just by his attitude, and that's what makes him great. Like he's not trying to be something different.
Yeah.
This week I did like ripping it up, throwing it, yelling at Nick Aldis, being like, "Do your job," like that. I don't know. It just felt like that was too much. Not Logan Paul.
Yeah, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I didn't like it, because I felt like it was forced on his part, and I'm obviously not saying it was his idea. It's obviously WWE's idea, but I think they tried to force that a little bit. And Cody, I don't know. Cody didn't really say like a ton, but to me at least, but like what he said, I just was like, man, this is over the top.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that'll change a little bit. Like I said, there's another week build up, and obviously now that it's only for
The
one
undisputed,
title,
yeah. We'll get into that.
yeah, but it just something seems off.
Yeah. Right. You have to pop the suit Cody was wearing though.
Oh, Cody's
Dude, he looked good.
Cody's gear, in ring, his suits,
Dude.
the entrance gear. Like Cody is $1 million every time, no matter what he wears.
Just a very quick side note here, but we've now only seen this belt on 2 different people, and I thought the belt was one of those belts that was made for Roman Reigns. Like when I saw Roman walk down the ring with it, that gold and black logo, I was like, the issue with this belt is going to be it's not going to look good on anybody else. I've been completely wrong. That belt looks phenomenal when Cody's even doing the traditional hold of the belt like he does.
Yeah.
Dude, that belt compliments him.
Yeah.
Eventually we're going to have to start having the conversation of, is this an all-time looking belt? I know that that's a big, big, big controversial topic, especially when you have big boys like this. But man, when he's coming out looking at that with that suit and that belt, just pops the rest of his character almost, because his like suit and his hair and everything is like the opposite color of the belt, and it just makes everything pop. It's so good.
Yeah, and I think obviously we'll get into that at a later time for a belt debate.
Yep.
But it's the people who also make the belt, and the belt make the people. You know what I mean? So it's like you have 2 top dogs, and
Can't call it a belt, it's a championship.
Cody,
it's a title.
Strap. Is that better?
Strap.
Cody just all together. He looks like we've talked about before, like a creative character, but it's like it's so good.
Yeah.
He's got that traditional look that you don't see anymore. I mean, I couldn't tell you the last time we've seen somebody in a suit besides JBL, maybe.
Oh man, dude, I have no idea.
So it's like
Triple H.
it's like that long ago. You know what I mean?
A guy coming out in a suit every week.
Yeah, and it's just different. Like he carries himself different.
He's the Barney Stinson of WWE. You know,
That's-
suit up. All right, let's move it on. We're gonna do our King and Queen of the Ring premium live event predictions. So this is not just our predictions for the final matches in Raw and SmackDown this week, but also our final predictions at the actual matches next Saturday. Thank God it's a Saturday midday. Keep bringing on these international PLEs that happen in the middle of the day for us, because man, that's so great.
You signed me up for an international midday. It doesn't even have to be international. You can do one here in the States. Just give me a mid-Saturday
Which means our next
show.
Our next show will be like right afterward, and we're gonna be on time with something. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
All
First
right.
time for everything.
So
Maybe
we-
the last.
So we do have to I know we just said that we're not only predicting this week's winners, but we have to predict these week's winners, right, in order to get to our final.
Right.
So let's go ahead and start with those first.
Okay.
We got on Raw. We're gonna have Gunther taking on Jey Uso. I'm gonna let you take this one first. I know we've had conversations about it every once in a while, but who do you think wins this one?
Yeah, I think Jay is going to take it.
Yeah.
Should Jay take it? That's really up for debate, and you could honestly go on and you could debate both sides.
Yeah.
Jay needs something. Storyline wise, you see Tonga on the other side. It seems like it's kind of too good to be true.
Yeah.
Jay is so massively over. I mean, there are people in the wrestling community that I disagree with a lot of the time, and they are just saying, hey, you can see it. Every week he comes out. The crowd interaction in the matches. I don't know where that puts Gunther. I know you had your own theory. Yeah. I don't really know what you do with that, but maybe he's one of those wrestlers that doesn't need it.
Yeah.
I think Jay needs it more, especially because Jay's been going on roughly, oh God, it's probably roughly like a year of Jay just being by himself, and he doesn't have anything, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I'm going to agree and disagree. First, please give me King Gunther. I think it would just be amazing. His freaking name is the Ring General. Make him a king, bro. But storyline wise, Jay needs to get. I agree with you. We're at the point where Jay needs an accomplishment that he can point to. I'm glad they didn't give him the World Heavyweight Championship right away. I was happy about their decision for him to lose at Backlash. But we are at the point, like you said, where you got to give your main guy something. And a King of the Ring, at the end of the day, doesn't mean much in wrestling history in terms of, being King of the Ring for the year. It's kind of just something you can put on your Wikipedia page. But it would be something enough right now for Jay because those titles are staying in place for further feuds, so they're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
I bet they're not going to throw Jay down to the Intercontinental scene. So give him King of the Ring. He's going to win here.
Yeah, and I guess a quick thought as you're sitting there talking, you give him King of the Ring, and that's all fine and dandy, but at the same time, it kind of gets lost.
Yeah,
like because I think he's, as we'll get into, I think he gets into a program that's kind of like a faction war.
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah,
cool. You gave your King of the Ring to somebody that's not even really going to compete for titles. So it's kind of like an interesting choice because typically you see that King of the Ring elevate to the title scene.
No, but not recently. Like Zelina Vega and Xavier Woods. Well, I mean, but I do we need King of the Ring winners to really go to the title scene? Like I'm personally, I've never put much stock into King of the Rings. Like I enjoy the idea of saying, like, I think King of the Rings should get a shot at something, and a title shot does sound correct, but I don't always need a King of the Ring to me it's like a seasonal. It's like an extra seasonal mid-card title is what the King of the Ring feels like. It's just like we have two mid-card titles. They're on separate shows, but once a year we make up this other mid-card title feeling thing, which is the King of the Ring, and then we get to elevate one more person without having the pressure of putting a strap on them in any way. So that's kind of how I feel about King of the Ring in general. Anyway, let's move on to the SmackDown show. We got Orton versus Tama Tonga. God, I wish Orton would win this somehow, some way. But my overall prediction, I think, is going to follow whatever happens on Raw. Like, if Gunther wins, Orton's winning.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's only two matches that can happen at King of the Ring for the men, and it's either Gunther versus Orton or Jay versus Tama. I don't see any other mesh here.
Yeah, and I guess it's kind of, I don't want to say nice, but thoughtful maybe is the right way from WWE. Like they've drawn the lines in the sand so clear that you're like, okay, whoever wins Monday, who's winning Friday? Friday's obviously a tape. No, maybe it's not a tape show. Maybe
no, it's happening. It was rumored they were going to tape it after last week's SmackDown, but then they came out and was like, no, we have a SmackDown Saudi. There's tickets.
That's what it was. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, it
might be getting taped before Friday, but it's in Saudi.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but it's kind of like you said, it's very apparent because you're not going to have Gunther versus Tonga, and you're not going to have Jay versus Randy. It just doesn't make sense.
I just think I, I mean, we've said this before on the podcast, so I'll only touch on it briefly, but I think it's way too early to bring the bloodline back into the Usos light. Like, let's keep it away. I kind of want the bloodline in this solo and these new guys, build them up a separate way from everybody else. When they get enough heat under their butts, then you bring the Usos back into it. I just think it's too early. It's the same conversation with the Jade and Bianca rivalry happening already. It's like, we know you got lightning in a bottle down the road. Keep it in the bottle for a bit.
Yeah, and the only reason I agree 100%, by the way, with that statement. And I've seen a lot of things on social media, whether it's people discussing on our stuff or separate pages. A lot of people are kind of maybe not discrediting, but they're almost kind of sick of the bloodline, the new bloodline already. And maybe it's a way to kind of reinvigorate, like give them some juice. Maybe they, go out and destroy Jay. Maybe you can really kind of build some heat on them. They need something to build heat on them. I don't know what that would be. So I mean, I guess
they feed Gunther to Tama and then they gang up on Gunther and beat him and pin him. Could you imagine the outrage of Gunther getting squashed in some form of backstage jump or something?
Turns out just everybody in the bloodline is beating up Gunther, and Paul Heyman pins Gunther. And
yes, I'm down for Paul Heyman's King of the Ring.
King Paul Heyman, sign me up.
I'm a Hall of Famer and a King of the Ring. So in all honesty, though, our opinions are probably Jay and Tama are likely going to go over. But
yes,
I want to see Gunther versus Orton so bad, man.
Yeah,
so bad. Either way, I think both matches are going to be great this week. Gunther and Jay has potential to be phenomenal, and then obviously Orton's putting on some of the best matches of his career.
Yeah, I mean Gunther, you can pencil in for a 4-star match minimum.
Yeah,
and Randy, like I said, some of the best work of his career. It's been really nice to see.
Moving on over to the Queen of the Ring for the week, we have Io Sky versus Lyra Valkyria. I think Lyra wins this one. To me, this would be a great match. This one is a toss-up, but I think that Io's been in the title scene enough over the past 5-6 months that, I mean, it's another one of those situations that we keep saying she doesn't need it. So let the new girl get a shot, man. Just throw her in there. I love Lyra. What she's doing recently on Raw is great. Not much else to say there. I mean,
yeah, and Io just had that recent title reign, and maybe I might feel.
And I think they're all injured. Just side note, I think all of Damage Control is dealing with.
Besides Dakota, probably.
Yeah, I think
Dakota's been doing.
I think they're all a little banged up
matches.
Though. At least that's the rumor here.
That would make sense. Yeah, I don't have much to add to that. As much as I do love Io, and I know you guys all love Io, it just makes sense to put the new person out there. And
that has potential to be a really good match.
Yeah,
they're gonna tear it down.
That might be match of the.
I mean, freaking.
Or I guess it's on SmackDown, right?
No, Io and Valkyria is Raw.
Oh, Raw. I'm sorry. Yeah. I was saying it's not at the pay per view.
No.
So that I mean that's it's either between that or Gunther and Jay for match of the night. I mean those it's gonna be a
Io just tore it down with freaking Shayna Baszler. So
it's gonna be a great.
If she can tear it down if she can tear it down with Baszler, then her and Valkyria should be able to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're both probably going with Valkyria there, right?
Yeah.
And then of course we have Bianca and Nia Jax, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Nia's getting the win here some way. I think. I think that the knee thing combined with the Jade is now. I think Jade's gonna come out and get Bianca DQ'd in some way, and then we're gonna start the Jade and Bianca storyline in one way or another. That's what I think is gonna happen this week. You yelled at my kid, so I'm gonna run out there with a chair and beat you up or something.
That's a very fair thought that I didn't really have. I don't really know where to go with this match, which means I don't really know where to go in the final. I am just going to go ahead and give it to Bianca just for the sake of it being Bianca. I guess maybe you could have her be Queen of the Ring, and you could have her and Jade have some tension back and forth while they hold the titles. I don't really like that idea still, but they've already surprised me once with Bianca winning and really with Nia winning, so I don't really know what to think.
Yeah. So, might as well get to what's happening on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Since we're already talking about the King and Queen of the Ring matches, let's go ahead and predict the finals. So, we're going to do kind of a speed round here. I have all 8 potential matches listed out.
Okay.
And we're just going to say, if it was this match, who wins here? So, we're going to start with the women.
Okay.
We'll go Bianca versus Valkyria. Who gets the win on that one?
That's maybe the toughest. That's probably the toughest one of the women.
Yeah.
I will say Bianca.
So, I'm gonna have to include both matches here because this is my Bianca take. So it will either be Bianca versus Valkyria if Bianca wins, or Bianca versus Sky, right? So those are the two potential matches for Bianca if she wins. I think if Bianca wins on Friday in some way, she's winning the Queen of the Ring. I don't think there's it. It doesn't matter who, and I think there'll be great matches. But that's my opinion on Bianca. It's just it doesn't matter who wins on Raw. If Bianca wins on Friday, Bianca's queen. Because at that point, you got her this far.
And this might be like a random thought to have, but since it is in Saudi Arabia, those Saudi crowds, they obviously always want to see certain wrestlers.
Yeah.
So maybe that kind of plays in a little bit to my head because I don't really see that crowd being like, I want to see Valkyria. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's brand new to
Right.
TV.
So
we know NXT, but
yeah. So Bianca's got that star power. I just think she's going to be there.
So you under the impression that if Bianca gets to the final, she's probably walking away with the Queen of the Ring?
Yeah. If I had to bet on one of the women to win that would be the heavy favorite for me. I think maybe Nia has like a bigger chance than maybe we're giving her credit for. I know the internet is.
I was just about to say that
the internet's been loving her.
Well,
and not that that's a bad thing, but I would be kind of surprised if they gave that to her.
I was just about to say that my prediction for the winner out of all four women left is probably Nia. I think, as I just said, I think that Jade's gonna screw her over on Friday, which will lead to her in the final. And I think they're trying to once again reestablish Nia as being like the biggest imposing threat to the women's division overall.
And she could squash just whoever in the final.
To be fair, I will just flat out say I don't know if you squash them, but it'll be a Nia match.
Just dominate.
It'll be a Nia match. Yeah. I mean, what was I gonna say? Obviously, we're just as critical as most of the WWE fans over Nia's past performances. I do think she's getting better in the ring. I do think she's getting a little bit more character in her overall actions and her way she speaks. So if they want to go this route, fine.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it as much as I would have a few years ago.
Yeah, no.
I've definitely. I don't want to say like I'm sitting there clamoring like, oh my god, I want to see Nia Jax, but like when I see her on the screen, I'm not upset anymore. I'm just like, okay, yeah, let's see what happens.
I completely agree. That's exactly how I'd put it. It's no longer a verbal sigh when her music hits. It's like, okay, well, she's been booked in, the last times we've seen Nia, where has she been? Who has she been around? Well, Bianca, Jade, she interrupted Liv and Becky. It's like, okay, she's surrounded by big names. This is probably going to be good in some way. So let's just keep that going. So out of the four women left, who do you think wins the King of the Ring if you could put your bills on it?
Bianca.
So you're giving it to Bianca. Bianca takes it in Saudi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and say Nia, kind of begrudgingly. But
I feel like those are only two choices.
Yeah, I mean,
admittedly,
if you ask me who I want to see, I would love to see Valkyria get her moment. And that's something where you could immediately boost her into some sort of title scene and maybe be the first real rival to Liv.
Yeah,
because they've already kind of had the backstage.
They've had the back and forth already.
Well, we'll get into that one later. Hopefully, they give the title to Liv there. But so, Queen of the Ring winners here: Bianca from Brandon, Nia from Will. Yes. King of the Ring. We have our two Gunther matches that could happen: Gunther versus Orton or Gunther versus Tama Tonga. We both have now sat here and said that if Gunther wins on Monday, it's Orton that he's 100% gonna fight, and then if Jay wins Monday, it's gonna be 100% Tama Tonga.
Yes.
So is it one of those things where? No, I guess. No, I don't feel the same way about Gunther getting to the final as I do Bianca. If Gunther finds his way to the final, I don't 100% think he would beat Orton with the way that Orton's kind of being booked right now. So this is kind of the most interesting. The men's side is definitely much more interesting to me than the women's side at this point.
Yeah, I would say there's 3 people from the men's participants that are left that I could see winning it and I would be happy with.
Yeah.
I think Tonga's the only one that I'm kind of begrudgingly being like, you know what? I don't really like the decision, but I haven't seen enough of him, admittedly. So I think Orton, obviously we mentioned it before. I would personally love Orton to get it just because I love Orton. Jay's super over, and I find myself liking Jey Uso more than I would probably like to admit. Could tell you why. And Gunther's Gunther. So any one of those three, if I had to guess, I would take Jay
To win it all.
to win it all. I just feel like the other two don't need that.
Yeah, I think Jay winning and then hitting the yeet dance in front of the Saudi fans all
With
their
the
life.
crown and
Yeah,
the cape.
with the crown. I mean, that's just an inevitable
And
sighting.
you could have him like, so he comes out on the next episode and he has like a custom cape and it says yeet on the back.
Here's a
Tell me that's not cool.
Yeah, no, no. No, I'm not. Yeah, I've seen this debate, and it is a little bit of a side tangent, but I've seen the debate online a lot, and I wanted to get into it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Is this what's the opposite of evolution? A devolving of Jey Uso? Because yes, he's over as hell, and the crowd loves it, and we love to see the yeet and everything. But he has gone. If you look at his work, and when people have brought it up on the internet, you can open the thread right on Twitter, and it's just, and people have included their favorite promos from Jey.
Yeah,
dude, when he really split off for the first time from Bloodline, he was doing some really emotionally good work and it was a deep character. And now I would say he has devolved to a one-word pony. Like
yeah.
He just says yeet all the time, and it's over, and it's fun to watch. But I mean, how long are we really gonna survive? Or really, is that really gonna survive here? I mean, he really is just a yeet. I mean, his glasses say yeet. Everything just says yeet. He's bringing the yeet down to Gunther next week. Like
he's the
it's
yeeter
fine.
of worlds is what I saw.
The yeeter of like,
which is wild.
It's just, I mean, yeah. Come on.
I guess I haven't really thought about it in that sense.
Yeah.
I would say WWE has done a pretty good job, at least to me, of being kind of seamless in terms of transitioning him from like that super deep character to just like this, I don't know, charismatic yeet guy, which doesn't even make any sense.
Exactly. That's how you just described him.
Doesn't
is that not an issue?
It does. Oh, I think it's an issue. I think
because that would be the way to describe him. How do you describe Uso? He's, he used to be a tag team guy. He flies around the ring and he says yeet.
Yeah, and I think maybe this King of the Ring has the chance to do something more.
This yeet of the ring.
I would. That's probably what McAfee's gonna call it. Is he's the yeeter of
yeet of the week champion,
the yeeter of the ring and
yeet
stuff.
of the King Championship.
I think he's going to win it, and I completely agree with the devolving side of it.
Yeah,
I think he's going to win it, and you have a chance to maybe build him up. I think it really depends on what the Bloodline 2.0 does to him.
Oh, to take him out of the yeet.
I think he's obviously going to win it, but you can have him get kind of written off in a sense, which doesn't make sense for King of the Ring, but you can have the Bloodline attack him so much. And then, Jimmy's obviously off right now. Jimmy comes back and he needs Jimmy's help. And you can kind of have this like story arc of him like fighting himself, and he's kind of lost, but he needs his brother to find himself again. So like, I think there's a way that you can get back into making him a deep character.
I get what you're saying.
But just right now, yeah, it's pretty rough in terms of character-wise.
Gotcha. That's all fair. So for our women, you had Bianca, I had Nia. We're both, if we had to put our money on it, probably taking Jay here. Let's move it on up, though. Intercontinental Championship triple threat match between the champion Sami Zayn. I think I just did the Becky Lynch intro, to be honest with you. Chad Gable and big Bronson Reed, because you can't have a guy's character not have a descriptive word for the big, for his looks.
I understand his move, his finishing move is like the tsunami or whatever. It's just weird that his like Titantron video is like a comic book, like skyscraper monster thing.
Side note: is the King of the Ring final going to go on last, or Cody and Logan?
It's got to be Cody Logan.
I agree. When are we going to take the main event out of main event Jey Uso's name?
They might start the show.
Yeah.
Get the yeet out there early and get it going.
So, the whole backstory to the Intercontinental title match is basically Chad Gable couldn't get the job done against Gunther before Mania. Sami Zayn did get the job done against Gunther at Mania. Sami Zayn and Chad kind of had a buddy-buddy thing going on. Sami Zayn gave Chad the opportunity at the championship. Chad lost again. Heel turn, pissed off. I deserve everything. I'm now a bad guy. And then Bronson Reed is there. And
I was just about to ask as you were going through the storylines, and you could maybe see my thoughts on my face. I was like, why is Bronson Reed in this match?
Because Bronson Reed had the title match against Sammy, and then Chad screwed him. So now Bronson's like,
well, why did he have the initial, like, just cause, right?
Because
I don't remember.
That's the only bad part about the Paul Levesque era so far, is that people are kind of just handed championship matches out of thin air. There doesn't seem to be much rhyme or reason to it. That's a topic for another day. But yeah, Bronson Reed, he just got the opportunity,
He's there for the
bro.
big spots, you know.
People are actually
you give me Gable giving that rolling German to Bronson Reed.
Oh, it's happening.
Yeah,
I know. I want Gable to do the rolling German to Bronson Reed, who's also holding Sami Zayn,
kind of like what is it, Cena, Edge, Big Show?
Yeah, and it's like a 3-person. Oh man,
put the ref in there too. Give me a ref bump.
Oh, I've been thinking about this. Yes, a ref bump. It's a quadruple German. I'm stressed about this match because it just seems like if you ask any WWE fan what the hell is going to happen here, it's like, well, obviously it's Chad Gable, right? It's time to give Chad Gable the belt, and he's going to have a good heel run. But then it's like, are they going to take the belt off Sammy?
It's WWE, and they love
like
Sammy.
They love Sammy for some reason. If you like Sammy, all for you. But man, I'm not a fan, and it's going to be hard for me to. Bronson's there for a reason, right? He's there to take a pin. That's what Bronson is there for this weekend. And I'm hoping I think this is going to be a good match. As you say, the German thing's about to happen. But man, not having to pin Sammy, not having to pin Chad is a good way to
keep it going.
Keep it going.
Keep it going.
Exactly.
And I think you answered your own question. Like, Bronson's there to take the pin.
Yep.
You are not going to have, if Sammy's like, oh, hey, I pinned Bronson, like, well, Gable's still going to be pissed. But
you
so
Sammy pin Bronson, then Chad's like, well, you didn't pin me.
Yeah. But so I think that, prediction wise, I think Gable gets the win. It is tough to see them take the belt off of Sammy. I don't really understand why they gave it to him in the first place, to be honest, but that's a different tangent. I think Gable is the best one out of these three in ring, on the mic. I do like the new character. I think it would be a pretty big misstep by WWE to not give it to Gable.
100%. I think, even though I just said all of that, I do think they are going to give the belt to Chad Gable here. And I couldn't be happier for the guy. I really hope it happens because this has such potential. I love, him splitting off the Alpha Academy and potentially forming with the Creed brothers is going to be it could really push this guy to another level of stardom. Like if that faction succeeds and is as good as like the Kurt Angle faction and stuff like that, or at least is in the mention with that. That's special stuff. That's career-altering stuff, and it happens if they give him the belt next weekend.
Yeah, and he's come a long way since, what was it, Shorty G?
Shorty G.
When we were there at that SmackDown with Team Hogan, Team Flair.
Hey, this heel turn has officially turned him into a deeper character than just a sheesh guy.
Yeah,
so it could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would like to... I would like to see... That was really good. I would like to see... that side of him, that heel side, I've got to see a little bit more deeper, like Chad Gable, and it's good. So, like, he has the ability to work on the mic.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens. We hope that we're right. I guess I have a quick question. If that's the case,
who is his first opponent? Sami Zayn.
You give him the rematch at SummerSlam?
Yeah, Sami Zayn,
or not SummerSlam? Is that the next pay-per-view?
No, Clash of the Castle.
So you give him that at Clash?
Yeah, I think no matter what, whether if they do keep the strap on Sammy or they give it to Chad, it has to end in like the definitive ending of the feud between those two.
So I'm only asking because he's facing Otis.
Yeah.
So the question is like, when does he face Otis?
SummerSlam.
Is that
Otis can be a big pop.
Who do we have work on the mic for
Who
Otis?
was it? Man. I want to say Jim Cornette. It was.
You're the big Jim Cornette guy now, huh?
Yeah, dude. We're just gonna mention him once a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't even really
send us those royalties.
I don't even really like the guy as much as you think. But I think it was him. He said that at the Mania that went down under COVID, where they had to a week earlier, they had to go to the Performance Center.
Yeah.
It was like the big COVID tier change.
Yeah.
He said that the biggest pop of the night, if there would have been a crowd, would have been Otis finally getting with Mandy.
Yeah.
He can get to that level of he can draw that level of love from the fans.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Otis is great in the ring. I'm not saying I'm a huge Otis guy, but I'm saying that there is precedent for him to reach a level with the crowd that would get him a big enough pop to put them on a SummerSlam card and have something interesting.
I'll take it one step further as we're talking about this. We're fantasy booking it.
Ah, shit.
My declarations have been right so far.
Okay.
You give me Chad Gable winning this.
Yeah.
You give me a long story arc.
Yep.
Maybe almost too long of him and Otis, right?
Too long.
Potentially.
Okay.
Because at Mania.
Oh my God, you're not drawing this out till Mania.
Oh, yeah. Well, that needs a big stage because Otis saves Alpha Academy. And then him and Maxine runs into Otis's arms because he saved Alpha Academy.
And Otis,
you tell me that's
Otis just has the deepest bag in WWE history when it comes to women.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what?
Akira Tozawa's off to the side, just hanging out, and Otis is the new leader of Alpha Academy. He saves it.
You know what? Sure, book it.
Yeah.
All right, so we both have Chad Gable though. Moving on over to what we think has been probably the weakest of the rivalries out of everything on this card. Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, World Heavyweight Championship match. Put the belt on Liv. Triple H, put the belt on Liv. We're done with this shit. Put it on her. Let's move it. Let's keep this thing rolling. I don't want to say just put the belt on her.
Yeah, there's not much more to say.
Yeah,
I will say, I guess, as I said, there's not much more to say. I'm interested to see what happens like from there. I guess Liv maybe faces Valkyria, which maybe
I think Valkyria.
Maybe she wins.
I think with
Queen
Becky in the
Ring.
corner.
Yeah. So, well, I think maybe Becky takes some time off. So maybe you have Valkyria like for the Irish women or whatever they were trying to like that Irish tag team thing, whatever the hell it was.
But they alluded at on Monday.
Yeah, and so like I think
we're both Irish.
Okay, like cool. So I guess maybe Liv does that, but after that, I'm interested to see what happens. Obviously, Rhea's gonna come back and face her for the title, but over maybe they can put Dom on a ladder.
He's hurt.
Well,
Dom on a ladder.
Yeah, like an Eddie Ray match. They can put him in like a cage, and they can just like.
No, that's happening. I mean, Dom also liked her Instagram photo the other day. Okay?
That's big. That's
man,
big here in 2024.
WWE Twitter is just detectives, man. I opened that thing up. It's like, the bandana in the pocket. I never would have seen that.
Bandana in the pocket, and admittedly, when we went, God, what was it? Almost 3 weeks ago? Yeah. Almost a month ago now. I didn't even notice, like, the backstage promo where Liv walked out of the room and then I didn't even notice that.
Dom came out of the same room.
I was like, we got in the car and I was like, oh.
I take back what I said about Otis. Dom now has the deepest bag in WWE history.
They're gonna eventually have to have a match for deepest bag.
Bag. Otis is main event of Mania 44.
And you could just put like
you
can put all the women in like an elimination chamber.
No. You need to do what's the match? What was the match that used to be called when they would have the people on the outside of the ring?
Well, the lumberjack
match.
Lumberjill match for the women.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Did they actually call it a lumberjill for women?
Uh-huh.
I don't remember that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, we both have Liv winning this match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. And then the main event of the night will be our WWE Undisputed title on the line. I want to get your opinions on that first. Is that a smart move to only have the WWE Championship on the line here?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
You can't have Cody have both belts, and Logan's not going to be your world champion. So we talked about it a little bit a couple weeks ago before they dropped that only for the one title. Yeah. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense while you put both of them out there. You still get Logan to have the United States title. Cody still has the WWE title. I think it's a smart move.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good match. Kind of maybe it's more of like a spot fest than what we're used to for Cody matches.
Yeah.
Because Logan obviously can't.
I agree, but
do that well. But I think it'll be a good match, and I think it's smart.
Cody doesn't always need to have 30-minute classics either. Right. A 10-15-minute spot spot fest with Cody is going to be good either way. I think they're going to put on a show, and I'm very happy. I think it's how they did it was a little cheesy with Logan Paul just ripping up the contract. Like Nick Aldis, you're the GM, like you're the boss here. You can't just let him do that. But I digress. It's smart to not have. Don't put 2 belts on Cody right now. Don't do it.
And I guess maybe I'm thinking a little bit reading too much into the Nick Aldis thing. Obviously, Aldis was a wrestler for NWA, and he could still probably go.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that wasn't that long ago. Do you bring him, like, does he challenge Logan Paul for
No.
the United States?
No.
Because I'm only asking that, like, that was the thought that ran through my head with how Logan treated him and then how he kind of like reacted. Like, he reacted weird. It wasn't just like a normal general manager thing.
And Cody like sent him to the back, which was I thought that was a whole really weird part of the segment was the whole Cody like, Nick, it's okay, I'm relieving you of your duties. It was like it's like this. He's your boss.
Yeah.
I mean, a good story to hear. Like, he's
Yeah.
the GM. You're all your bosses. You can't rip up the contract. I'm not leaving. You can't relieve me of my job right now. Both you shut up. We're signing this contract.
Yeah.
Print another one out, motherfucker. Bring it out.
Yeah, and,
Like-
and maybe you guys know more than I do. I'm not super familiar with Aldous. I know a little bit about him, but I mean, maybe they can do that. I don't know. It just seems weird to me that they.
Yeah, I'm always. It's been years since we've had like a GM that wrestles and there's a boss, like actual fighting feud between.
Yeah, because I know Pierce obviously used to wrestle as well. I think he had to retire though due to injury.
Yeah, Nick Aldis can still go though.
That's what I thought. So
Yeah.
like it seems like they planted some weird like seed there, and
I'm okay with that.
I don't know. It just
I
seems,
didn't see that, but I get what you're saying, and
Yeah.
I'd be interested in it. Fine.
just for the first time ever, just have a GM hold the title. Just have him.
Hey, remember Vince McMahon was ECW champion?
He was not the GM of the show.
Now he was the GM of wrestling. All right, but to get back to our point here, Cody versus Logan. As we just said, you think it's gonna be spot fest. I kind of agree with you. Cody's 100% getting the win here. Which
Do they come out with a prime bottle, or is that just a Mania thing?
got to be just a Mania thing. I'm totally fine with Logan Paul bringing some Prime bottle out every Mania. I think it's
I was
funny.
going to ask who's it going to be this time?
Eventually, it's gonna be Logan or Jake, and Jake's the Prime's gonna win the fight. Like, he's gonna beat the shit out of whoever tries. Like, not even a Jake Paul fan here, but like that you have to book that. So, I mean, really not much to say here. I will say you said one thing that I disagree with.
Shocker.
You said that Logan Paul's not going to be a WWE champion. He's going to win that title at some point, and it's going to piss people off. But here's the thing: Logan Paul has the biggest podcast on earth. He's one of the most famous people on earth, and that thing has a big logo on it.
Yeah.
And he's been really good about going to every event and holding the belt. He's proud of it.
He's great, like, with the, I mean, obviously, because he's in the media, but he's great with the media in terms of, like, promotion-wise.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. Like, I understand what you're saying, like, and I knew that was going to be the case. I didn't realize it was going to be, like, I thought it was here. It's, like, up here.
No, dude,
with how great he is.
Literally anytime you see Logan Paul away from WWE, he's holding the belt.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
On their podcast, which I admittedly don't listen to his podcast very much. I'll listen when he's got big guys. Like I listen to the Orton one and Cody one, but he always has the belt right here, even when there's not wrestling people. So there's just this big WWE belt.
Yeah.
That thing's a big logo. It's going on around his waist at some point. Sorry to tell you guys. It's probably not this year. I don't know. He signed a 4-year deal, so
You could
at
just
some point it's happening.
Yeah, and I mean you're right, and you just give it to him for like a month.
Yeah.
And
You parade him everywhere.
Yeah. You say, hey Logan, like we're gonna give you this month, you're gonna work like nonstop, but then after that you can go away for a bit.
Yeah.
You can just get some time. So
I also think they're eventually going to sign Jake Paul to something, and I think Jake Paul's going to get a tattoo with the wrestling logo,
I mean that's not
like right here.
that's not like a super hot take. I mean, so what and it makes sense promotion wise. Last point here, promotion wise, it makes sense for them to not have both titles on the line because Logan can have the United States title. SummerSlam is August 3rd. Jake Paul's fight is July 20th, I believe. So obviously,
And Cody alluded to the Jake Paul fight in the
Yeah.
He said he's going to lose to
in
Mike.
the promo and all that stuff, and I mean, you have Logan there with the belt. I mean, just like he was at the last fight, it just makes too much sense.
Here's the thing. I mean, we're going on a complete side tangent here, but it's because
That's what we should, instead of cousins of destruction, we should be called like side tangents of wrestling. Is what.
But it's just because we think that the winner of this match is obvious with Cody. But on a small side tangent, when it comes to, I know people get annoyed at the idea of even talking about like Jake Paul and other social media talents getting involved in the WWE, but like, if they are, Logan Paul is exactly what you want. That dude works in the ring. I get that people don't like him, and there's still a big part of the fan base that's like, get him out of here. But you can't deny his in-ring stuff. I mean, he's been good, man. Like he's been born for the in-ring stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna include more talent, get that line of talent.
Yeah.
I would say less Johnny Knoxville's and more Logan Paul's, right?
Yeah, I mean, Logan Paul is, I would argue, maybe the best celebrity.
Ever.
It's I mean, arguable.
Ever. Has to be. He's now a full-time
It's
superstar.
It's arguably him, and I mean, realistically, like Bad Bunny. Like Bad Bunny was really good.
Yeah, in terms of like actual in-ring talent. Yeah. I mean, they weren't just gimmicks.
Right. And so I understand why people are like, oh, this is professional wrestling. We don't need that social media, but like
You do.
It's so good.
You do. It all comes down to eyes on your product, and he brings
so
eyes.
Good.
So. All right, so those are our King and Queen of the Ring predictions. Brandon, once again, he says Bianca for the women. I'm going to go ahead and say Nia for the women. And then we both say Jay. We both say Chad Gable wins the Intercontinental title. Both say Liv wins the title. And we both say Cody Rhodes wins the title. It's just another one of those pay-per-views that seems like...
It's almost like it's always a glorified house show.
You need to... Yeah, but so is Backlash, and they made that feel special, so hopefully...
It'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, storyline-wise.
No,
you know who's going to win. But there is going to be a cooler bet for that one match.
So. Ooh. Next segment. If we were Triple H, this is basically a good way of saying, hey, we were in the show right now. How would we book XYZ? We're getting a little bit long on time, so we're going to cut it down to 2 people.
2 people.
But this first one that I'm going to bring up is directly influenced because of a promo that he had on SmackDown this week. If we were Triple H, how would we book AJ Styles now? And with the promo that I'm referring to is they asked him, where you go from here? You just had 2 matches that were bangers and you lost both of them. He said, well, where do I go from here? I'm going to go to Nick Aldis's office next week, and we're going to see where you go from here. So he's literally a blank slate. If you are Triple H, what the hell do you do with AJ Styles?
Oh, man. That's really putting me on the spot here.
I am literally putting him on the spot.
Really putting me on the spot here. I think he goes through a kind of like a redemption thing. Maybe he doesn't like believe in himself as much as possible. Maybe he kind of doubts himself. I don't know what you do, I guess, ring wise. I guess you have him start to maybe struggle against people I don't know. That's tough. In my mind, I'm like redemption story arc. So like he struggles with people. Maybe he shouldn't. Maybe he questions himself. Maybe he thinks
just a losing streak. You're trying to say like a great matches losing streak while also building up younger talent because he's going to put over guys.
Yeah,
beneath him.
Exactly. Kinda. And then maybe he kind of questions himself. I don't know how you would turn that around though. I mean, that seems kind of far fetched.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I would do because that's kind of how the promo was, at least. Like he doesn't really know where to go or what to do. But I mean, I am excited when I saw that promo. I was like, okay, like they're doing something with AJ. Like it might not be exactly what I want or what you want, but I'm excited to see what happens.
For me, a couple of things. That doesn't sound bad. I think people are going to disagree with my take more than they disagree with yours, but
I think they typically do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's been a good amount of people who've already called my takes dumb, and then I comment and I'm like, yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm stupid.
I just like this stuff. I watch wrestling a lot. Anyway, things that I don't want to see. I don't want to see another faction. All right, don't
with AJ.
Yeah, don't start AJ on another faction. I don't need another. What were they called? Like the OC? Is that what they were called?
Yeah, it's him and the Good Brothers.
Yeah, I don't need another faction.
Good Brother.
This is always an answer that people don't like to hear. But if Orton were to lose on Friday, put Orton and AJ in a tag team. We are sitting at a time where I'm looking at the SmackDown tag team division, and it's awful.
We're having your boys that have the
DIY.
titles.
Oh yeah,
no, not those boys. The
boys that have the titles are great. A-Tan, Dana, dude, Theory and Wallen, great. That's my thing though. Is that
Waller's great.
They literally have nobody.
Yeah,
like we're really about to get them versus DIY at some point. I don't want that. Do you want that?
No, I don't. But
so,
I think now that you mentioned that, like a tag team would be really good, and maybe you combine the two. Maybe you have a tag team. Maybe AJ questions himself like within the tag team, and Randy Orton's like, "Do you realize who you are? I'm totally hijacking your thing.
No, yeah.
But maybe you have Randy kind of talk about, do you realize who you are? You're AJ Styles, and then maybe AJ turns on Randy or something. I think that would be kind of cool.
Dude, I think, yeah, I think they've proven that they can have a banger match right out of thin air, basically. You put the titles on them. They can have a little couple month long rivalry with A-Town Down Under. You have like the story where AJ and Randy are a tag team, but they're not quite meshing because they're both trying to be the A guy. But then they figure it out. They win the titles. You give them a title stint for a little while, and then a heel turn on probably Randy's part. That just sounds great. You put belts on these guys. They're both in their mid 40s. They're both doing phenomenal work.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, AJ Styles and Randy Orton would elevate the hell out of Theory and Wallen right now. They seemingly have no place to go with those belts because we're gonna get DIY, as I just said. So I just think that would be.
Yeah, the only thing I do disagree with is the turn. I understand why you want Randy to.
I just feel like all tag teams crash and burn.
Well, no. Like
Randy Orton's involved, right?
Well, yeah.
Unless
I wanted to see
this, Mr. Riddle.
I wanted to see it so bad with Riddle to turn on Randy.
Yeah.
I mean, Randy's only. I mean, realistically, I might be wrong. I think he's only been turned on with Triple H, roughly.
Yeah.
So it's like
Evolution.
Randy's obviously been the one that turns on everybody. I just want to see somebody turn on Randy.
Yeah.
Again.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while.
That would be great.
So I would take that. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think that sounds great. I think that's a very smart move.
Yeah. We like it. We like it. All right. If I were Triple H, we've talked about this guy a lot today. This is
read the handwriting on the piece of paper. Uh-oh.
We've talked about this a lot today, but it's not about the guy. It's more of what he has. If I'm Triple H, how do I book Logan Paul losing the United States Championship? I think the reason that I am utilizing this question is because obviously what happened on SmackDown is we're not having a title match again for the US, or the US title is not being defended again, right. Which means there's 3 defenses in a year and a half from this guy. And people are officially sick and tired of it. We need that belt off him.
Yeah.
And they alluded at it on SmackDown it was no words. Logan Paul was walking into Aldis's office. LA Knight comes out and they give himself a stare down. So that seems like the obvious thing.
Yeah.
I just want to know our opinions if that's what we would do as well, and how would we go about doing it?
I don't know if I would sit there and say, hey, this is my first choice. As you were talking about it, I had forgotten about the interaction. I was like, oh, LA Knight would be cool. LA Knight, though, he's about to get into a program with Carmelo.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to kind of suck to see him go over Carmelo because Carmelo is, I guess, younger. But, I mean, I guess that means Carmelo has more time to build. So, LA Knight needs something. I mean, we've talked about it before. You can't have him just win nothing.
Yeah.
I would die for these on the mic battles.
Yeah.
You just put him in a ring. You have Logan be Logan, and then you have LA Knight just kind of. LA Knight would dominate him because I think LA Knight would just.
I don't know, man.
I think LA Knight would almost.
Logan's got chops.
He does, but I think LA Knight would almost like catchphrase him to death.
Yeah.
And then Logan has. It wouldn't be like great crowd reaction lines, but I think it would be like sneaky good lines.
Yeah.
So I think
like his promo against Jay a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Sneaky great lines that kind of went over wrestling fans' heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's tough because Logan is kind of like a hard person. Like he's great in ring, but character it's kind of tough to build because he's just like a douchebag.
Yeah.
So I mean, you take a heel douchebag, and admittedly you put him with like a face douchebag, and you just combine the two. I think it'd be really good. And then you get LA the belt, and Logan can have some time off and do whatever Logan.
So if we were Triple H, we'd probably book it the way that we think that people are gonna book that they're gonna book it, which is is LA Knight the guy that will eventually take the belt off of Logan Paul?
Yeah,
I think yes.
I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think it's great, and I think you know what I really want to happen. I think I would really.
I can only imagine.
I would really like them to bring back the previous United States title to put on LA Knight. It looks a lot better, and I think I think that
You were
belt
such
was
a fan of the new belt.
I do like the new belt, but the more I'm seeing clips of the old belt, like it was X amount of years ago. Yesterday was when Kevin Owens fought John Cena for the U.S. title, or he made his debut.
NXT debut.
I think it was like nine years or something. Yeah. But and Cena was holding the belt up, dude. Those colors just pop so much more. But it looks great. But yeah, I think LA Knight, I'm just gonna reiterate basically everything you just said. Those promos between the two would be ridiculous.
They'd be damn good.
I think the crowd would be really into that, because I think if you could take away one thing positive from the contract signing on Friday, it's they've done their work in terms of the crowd does not like Logan. They're hot.
Right.
They're loud. And then obviously whenever LA Knight's out there, the crowd's loud. So
yeah,
just the crowd interaction will boost that up. Even if they need a little bit of help, the crowd will give them enough crutch. So
yeah, you can do that at SummerSlam.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like I just said,
100%.
SummerSlam's a couple weeks after the Jake Paul fight. You get the exposure, and then boom.
Yeah, but I mean, Logan signed a full-time contract, so I wouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I just said that because him and his, I guess, wife, fiance,
Yeah.
they're expecting or whatever. So you give him a couple months off and maybe
return at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, something cool.
Yeah, they're gonna book him at 28. Oh,
I would yell for that. I'd be excited.
All right. That brings us to our final segment of the week. We might actually have a decently length podcast for once.
Maybe too lengthy, huh?
Wait, this one will be quick. Actually, no, it won't be, because
we side tangent.
We side tangent of destruction. Because it's now my week to do the fantasy match. Yes. We've had Streak Undertaker versus Streak Roman Reigns. We had last week. You had the prime baby faces against each other, Hogan and Cena.
Which people did not like, by the way. People were like, that match would be shit.
I didn't say that. I said that on the pod.
I didn't say the match would not be shit. I just wanted, just the build up. Ultimate baby face.
We're already on the third one, and I'm throwing an ultimate curveball here because my match does not include humans.
Do you folks remember the 12 of you that watched? Hold on. Let me talk. The 12 of you that watched last week. This man said, next week, I'm going to have a build-up. It's going to be a great fantasy matchup.
Yeah.
It's going to have its own storyline. Do you folks remember that?
It does. These both have giant storylines.
Oh, my God. Okay. We'll see.
Because I've just been seeing so much on the internet, just clips of what I'm about to say. All right? Mm-hmm. These aren't people.
Okay.
Fantasy match of the week is going to be the Yeet Lights from Main Event Jey Uso versus the Yes Chance of Daniel Bryan. I've seen the debate, the discourse online. What is better? They both do the same thing, where they get on the near left post, right, toward the set, and the cam does a pan back of the entire crowd. And yes, Jey Uso has the lights are out, so with the lights it looks a little bit cooler, I guess. But what's better, prime Yeet Chance, Yeet Lights, or the Yes Chance from Daniel Bryan, like Mania 30?
I think this is a terrible fantasy matchup.
Thank you.
Thought my matchup was bad last week.
I had to throw a curveball.
I think this matchup's going to get worse comments. I think it's an easy answer.
Easy answer.
Yeah.
It's
the Yes Chance.
Really?
Easily.
Holy shit, we're going to disagree on this one.
Hands down. I think it's the Yes Chance.
So you think the Yes Chance, like Mania 30, are better than like the France Yeet Lights?
I don't think that's fair, because I think that's kind of, as much as it's Mania, you take an international crowd, different circumstances. I think if you take the Daniel Bryan, you put him into France or vice versa, I think it shows.
Yeah.
Apples to apples. I think that the Daniel Bryan Yes Chance, I mean, those things were something we haven't seen in forever. And I understand the Yeet Lights. I get that. Maybe Daniel Bryan, just that run maybe has a more special place in my heart than it does for you. I mean, we just saw the other day, one of our friends had mentioned, what was better, the Daniel Bryan win or the Cody win?
Cody.
At the Manias. And we disagreed. I had said Daniel Bryan. So maybe that just holds a special place kind of in my heart, but I don't think it's close. And I think maybe because one of them's maybe like that main event status and the other's main event status, maybe that's why.
Man, that was a
Yeah.
so coming from a guy who's been yeeting all week long.
I'm not saying I don't like to yeet, but
I'm gonna take the yeet lights here, and the reason is because everybody else looks stupid when they do them, except for Jey Uso. All right, like
the lights.
no, no.
Or-
They when I say the yeet lights, that's what they called That's what on Monday. That's what they called him doing the whatever dance that is. They called it the Yeet Lights, so I'm gonna give them the name. I'm gonna give it the name Yeet Lights until they change it. But I think that is what puts it over the Yes Chance because it's so exclusive to Jey Uso. Everybody else looks stupid when they do it. Whenever you see Twitter clips of them going off air and like they have like Sami Zayn trying to do it and they all look stupid. Daniel Bryan's Yes Chance were completely iconic, and they're part of the reason he got pushed to the main event title scene in WrestleMania 30. But freaking Miz to this day does the Yes Chance when he does the kicks. Anybody can do the Yes Chance, and so that's what pushes it over for me is that it's so exclusive. You only think about Jey Uso when you see the Yeet Lights.
And maybe this is a opinion as I was staring into the camera. Doesn't that make it better because it's more iconic, because it's had more staying power? The Yes Chance, I get the Miz.
I can't argue the staying power because we're in the beginning of the Yeet Lights,
and that's fine. We'll revisit this in 3 years, but you look
write that down.
You look at it, and I think the Miz. I think the Miz honestly latched onto it because the Miz saw how great it is, and I do the same thing. But the Yes Chance have been so good with, I mean, honestly, almost anybody. It's one of the more iconic chants in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like the what chance and the yes chance. I'm not comparing the two because that's uncomparable, but I would say that it's up there arguably in that realm. And I mean, how long are we really going to
what you're saying is that the yes is at the point where it's become a what or a woo with the crowd
or a yes no kind of with the back and forth.
That's fair.
And I just the yeet I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying that it's not going to have that staying power while he's a singles person, but I mean, let's look into the future. I don't know, 5 months, 6 months. He'll be back with Jimmy. It'll be a tag team,
and they'll be eating.
They won't be eating.
They'll be doing this.
They won't be eating. I don't think Jimmy's much of a yeet guy. He doesn't seem like he's much of a yeet guy.
He doesn't eat and drive.
Oh, brother. So good. We go ahead. That was solid. I just think that you look at it and it's great for the singles run, but it's good for the couple of months that he's going to be here, and then it's going to kind of just go by the wayside.
I get what you're saying. Just two iconic chants at this point that have taken over crowds in ways where even if you dislike the guy and you're in the audience, you're freaking putting your hands up and doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge. I'm not a Jey Uso hater, but I'm also not a guy who's
He's that big.
But man, when he came out on Raw, I was like, down since day one. So
I can't wait for. It feels like I'm discrediting his singles run when I say this, but I can't wait for him and Jimmy to get back together.
Oh, see, I can wait. That's a conversation that we need to have another day.
I can't wait.
I am under the impression of just that entire story needs to be separate for a while.
We can separate it, but I get the story needs to be separated, but like, I don't know. I liked both of them so much when they were together, and they come out and they act like they're all badass, and they have the cool theme, and like they look super cool. Like, I just can't wait.
And I think that Jey Uso's theme song is so hot right now. You can't bring Jimmy back and ruin that. It's just me, Oos.
It's just the same theme song with different vocals over the top. Yeah, it's the same thing.
So we're both in agreement to Yeet Lights, huh?
No, we're not. No.
That's the real conversation. The yes/no chance. All right. Well, that brings us to that's the end of the episode. It's good stuff here. We went over our pops and drops for the week. We did our King and Queen of the Ring PLE predictions. Hoping that's going to be a good show next Saturday. We will have a podcast out. I mean, next month, the Monday after, so it'll be quick.
It'll be nice and quick.
We did our new segment, If I Were Triple H. Next time, we'll give that a little bit more room to breathe and get some more names in there. But a good first iteration of it.
Yeah, it's a good segment.
And then a weird fantasy match of the week, but I thought it was entertaining and
weird. But now so I guess this is maybe a conversation off air. We'll have it on air. Screw it. Do I need to come up with the If I Were Triple H Superstars and the fantasy matchup?
No, we'll discuss that. We don't need to do If I Were Triple H every week unless I like it. But I mean, you can. Why not? Anyway, follow us on all social medias at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Please like and share and comment, especially comment. We absolutely love the debates, even the negative ones in the chats. We don't mind it at all. So bring it on. New podcasts every single Monday, and then check your YouTube and podcast throughout the week because we do try to put out Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, and then one extra video per week. We have one coming out this week. That'll be very good.
Yes.
So, anything else for him?
It's a lot of content.
But we're having fun with it.
Yeah, giving it a shot. Why not?
Yeah. Thank you guys for supporting us in any single way. But until next time, I am Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.